Chapter 24. Aferne knew when she walked out of the fire station that returning to Moja with the heart of a Namdi was going to be a challenge. Now, as she sits at the table across from this Laquan, she believes things are more troublesome than she could imagine. Though the heart of a Namdi has been missing for over 282 years, Laquan insists that he has only had it in his possession for just over a month, and the previous holder is off somewhere unknown to him. She listened to his tale of heartbreaking pain and the loss of life and that of his own will and belief. But she has to make him understand all that in which the people of her world suffer. How will she get him to grasp the urgency of the moment, the ultimate danger he and his earth are in? Does he even know the level of power that he now wields? Does he know the lengths the Dainu will go to reclaim it? The fields of broken bodies he will walk over to reclaim the heart of a Namdi, just so he could continue the smothering rule over the people of Moja. If he did, he wouldn't be sitting across her speaking so nonchalantly about it all. I hear you loud and clear, Ferne, but that doesn't change anything. He paused, as to find the words that will explain perfectly. He settled for blunt and direct. I'm not giving up the blood gem.
Heart of a Namdi.
She corrected him again. Whatever. It's staying with me. It's what BLOODWYND said it wants. Again, he talks about the heart of a Namdi as if it's alive. She very well can't dismiss this claim because she has never possessed or even seen the jewel prior to this day. So, little is known about the heart of a Namdi by the Freedomist tribe. This might be a truth known by the Dainu and maybe the High Diviner, and if so, they would never share that information. Her train of thought into the jewel's awareness was broken by Laquan's continuing stance on the matter. As for these killer hounds you say are coming for me.
Krakota.
She corrected him again. Yeah, Krakota, crocodile, crocotas, whatever. The things you speak of, mind-blowing as they are. He leaned back in his chair, folded his arms, and finished his thoughts with an even tone. BLOODWYND said the blood, heart of a Namdi chose me, and somehow I can feel this is. He stopped mid-sentence. Laquan turned and looked out the apartment window as if someone called his name. It was silence for a good while, until Aferne, who followed his gaze, spoke.
What is it, Laquan? What touches you?
Laquan sat silently a minute more, then slowly turned his head back until Aferne and his eyes meet. Something, he just spoke to me.
Who spoke to you?
Aferne asked, utterly confused by Laquan's outburst. Laquan hesitantly placed his elbows on the table and replied. It was BLOODWYND. Aferne sat on pins and needles, waiting for Laquan to finish. He sat there as if fixed on everything and nothing all at once. She couldn't take it anymore.
Well, what did he say?
Jimmy, also known as the hero BLOODWYND, faced the direction opposite of the fleeing animals because he knew whatever was coming would be doing so from that general area. Crimson flickered and crackled from the white abyss that were his eyes a moment ago. Though he didn't possess the blood gem any longer, he still felt the residual power come to life within him. He dug his feet in the earth, like a runner waiting for the starter pistol. His fist clenched, his arms by his side on the ready. Jimmy scanned the space in front of him, left to right to left. He saw nothing, but he knew someone or something was there watching. No, stalking. He was being stalked. The muscles of his abdomen tightened, and just as his heart began to flutter, he sensed it. It was coming from his left. Whatever it was charging him from his left. Jimmy threw his arms in front of himself in a crossing block just as it made impact. The impact knocked him from his pivot, and after 3 steps backwards, he and the unseen creature came to a full stop. It was massive and strong, and very much invisible. Jimmy had to launch all of his counters to what seemed to be open air. He steadied his feet for balance, pushed back what was surely the creature's head with his left forearm, and then delivered a crashing right uppercut. It rocked the beast, sending it stumbling. Still, the only thing visible to Jimmy was the stirring earth and kicked up dust, sight clearly being unattainable. Jimmy relied on his other senses of hearing and smell. Every beast has a scent, or so Jimmy believed, but he picked up nothing from this creature. So, that leaves hearing then. Jimmy concentrated on his ears and listened, and sure enough, he began to pick up on ever so faint sounds of the creature's steps. They hit the earth in gentle but firm strides. He also picked up what must be its tail swishing through the night air. It was circling him, purposefully. This thing, whatever it was, must be looking for an opening, a lapse in judgment to attack. He assumed, or it was simply toying with him. The sounds of rapid steps along with a disturbed earth, Jimmy knew it was charging again. This time, though, Jimmy readied himself for the onslaught, best he could. But damn, this thing was fast. Fast and strong. Very strong. 1 minute, Jimmy was set to swing. Next, his right arm was immobilized by what surely were the jaws of Satan. The bite sent his whole body into double panic mode. Next thing he knew, he was off his feet and being slammed flat on his back to the unforgiving ground. "Damn it!" screamed Jimmy through clenched teeth. Jimmy didn't know if it was the adrenaline or the gears of basic instinct that turned, but the survive at all costs just went into overdrive. Suddenly, the power that was his for over 282 years burst forth from his core, and he hit this invisible beast with a flurry of lefts that made it howl with pain, which freed Jimmy's right arm. He reached out, grabbing hold of his attacker. Then with it in his hand, he leaped into a vicious slamming move of his own. The ground shook, and again the beast yelped with pain. Then, as Jimmy eyed the point of impact, he saw the air itself began to shiver. And then he saw it. The thing that was attacking him. It was like nothing he had ever seen before. No, this was definitely something new, and it was no ordinary beast. This was a demon pulled from the sewers of hell, and it looked pissed. To be continued.